Yes, just to add some small things, I'm associate professor, as you said, of human-computer interaction and also of human AI interaction, new course that will start in the University of Milano Bicocca, where I work next year. Uh, Human AI interaction is also known as advanced decision support or decision support with intelligent computational systems. At the University of Milano Bicocca, I'm head of the Modeling, Uncertainty, Decisions, and Interactions Laboratory, and I also founded the Medical AI Laboratory at the Orthopedic Institute Galeazzi of Milan. That is one of the most important Italian teaching hospitals specialized in musculoskeletal problems, where I work with many clinicians on a daily basis. In this talk, I will tell you about the lessons that I learned while conducting some research with these great people in the medical artificial intelligence domain. But I must start with a confession. It's true that I focus on artificial intelligence systems supporting the work of physicians and nurses, but I don't do it from the point of view of the typical artificial intelligence expert. That is someone who develops machine learning models and then deploys them in a given clinical setting. Well, I also sometimes develop some tools, or better yet, my great collaborators usually do it, but I prefer to focus on the task of designing, implementing, and evaluating interaction protocols by which humans interact with these intelligent systems in their daily decision-making practices. Put in other words, I am an interactionist, and I'm interested in multiple ways humans and machines can coexist, and machines can help us to improve medical practice. Thus, as an interactionist, I'm between two ambits of research and development: clinical points of care on one side and the AI laboratory on the other. I've been making research in the former domain since I began my PhD in clinical groupware almost 20 years ago, and I resumed my journey in artificial intelligence after my master's degree thesis in the 90s. Yes, I'm so old, more or less 5 years ago, when I wrote this viewpoint on the JAMA Journal about the unintended consequences of adopting machine learning in clinical practice. An article that soon became one of the most discussed among those published on JAMA and ever tracked by Altmetric Service. Now, 5 years later, its publication, this article is still in the top 1% of all research outputs ever tracked by this service, that is almost 30 million articles. I'm not saying this to brag, well, maybe a little bit, but to say how I was surprised that the interactionist discourse, in a broad sense, could generate so much interest around decision